Hey, what's up, guys? It's Sports Blitz here, and we're back with our NFL Week 13 power rankings. So Thanksgiving is officially over, and the three games for the Thanksgiving slate, well, I'd say two out of those three were pretty good. Obviously, not many people, including myself, really wanted to watch much of the Bears-Lions game. We kind of figured what the result of that would be. So that's in the books. The Raiders and Cowboys game was really, really good, actually. I really enjoyed that game, to be honest. And the Bills and Saints game, I know it was very, very heavily favored in the Bills' favor, but I enjoyed it. So, with Week 12 in the books, we have our Week 13 power rankings out, so let's get into them. But before we do that, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. If you guys could help me reach 750 subscribers, that would be super awesome. And let's get into it. So we have the Detroit Lions at 32. No reason to bring them up or down. They still haven't won a football game. I still have confidence in Dan Campbell. I do. The Lions keep losing football games in literally the most crushing ways possible. I feel for Lions fans, man. Really, really rough go for the Lions right now. But, yeah, you got to win football games to go up the power rankings. So, at 31, I have the Houston Texans. They lost to the Jets. And, yeah, they're just not looking like a very good team. We didn't expect them to be a good team this season anyways, so it's not really a surprise. But yeah, the Texans just aren't a good team at all. 30, I have the Jaguars going down by 1. They lost to the Falcons by a touchdown, 21-14. I really don't think the Falcons are that great of a team. I feel like all of their wins have come against pretty bad teams, to be honest. Yeah, they lost to the Falcons, so I'm moving them down by 1. Then the Jets at 29, I moved them up by 2 after beating the Houston Texans. Yeah, they got a win, but it was also the Houston Texans. That's why they're only going up by 2. I still don't think the Jets are a good team. But they do have 2 back-to-back draft picks, I believe in the top 5, actually. So, yeah, they're really stocking up for the future. At 28, I have the Seattle Seahawks. Feels weird having them this low. It really does. Going down by 2 after losing to the Washington football team. Yeah, you could expect this stuff with Geno Smith, but they're losing games pretty badly with Russell Wilson. I think this absolutely has to be Pete Carroll's last year. I also really don't know if Russell Wilson's even going to stay in Seattle after this year. So we could be seeing a rebuild happen in Seattle a lot sooner than we thought we would. So that'll be something to watch for this offseason. 27, I have the Chicago Bears going up by 1 after beating the Lions. There wasn't really much of a reason to move them up very much here. It was the Lions they beat, and they barely beat them. It was kind of a mixture of that as well as the Seahawks playing so badly that I was able to move the Bears up because the Seahawks moved, down that much. So, yeah, I have the Bears here at 27. 26, I have the Atlanta Falcons going up by 1. Again, I don't think they're a very good team. They've beaten teams like the Jets, the Jags, the Giants. They did beat the Saints. I don't think the Saints are a very good team this year either. to be honest. Plus, it was also a game after, I believe, after Jameis Winston got injured. So, Falcons really got away with that one. So, I'm still not real high on the Falcons. I don't think they're a very good team. So, yeah, that's kind of where I stand with that. 25, I have the Carolina Panthers down by 4, and I'm just going to put it bluntly. Panther season is over. They're not going to be able to fight for the playoffs anymore. Their offensive line had one of the worst performances that we've seen ever, according to PFF. On Sunday, their best lineman performance was Taylor Moton, their right tackle, who had like a 49 or so PFF grade on Sunday. So just their line played absolutely terribly. McCaffrey is now out for the season. Their defense is kind of struggling because of the offensive struggles. I think this is really a point where you really got to start to question the coaching staff, and I'm not sure Matt Rule makes it past this year. I don't think David Tepper has the patience for it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if Matt Rule gets fired this offseason. 24, I have the Saints also going down by 4. They're not looking like a good team. They really aren't. Trevor Siemian just has not looked like a good quarterback. Their defense has looked good but inconsistent. I feel like they have a really good run defense still. I feel like they still have a top 5, if not top 3 run defense in the league. So, really, really dominant there. But I'm not super big on their secondary, to be honest. I mean, we saw Stephon Diggs absolutely wreck Marshawn Lattimore for a touchdown there. So yeah, I don't know what the Saints are doing right now. I do hear that they're planning on starting Taysom Hill this week and going forward, so that could be a big change. I think Taysom Hill is much better than Trevor Siemian. I feel like they should have gone to Taysom after Jameis got injured, so finally fixing that mistake. 23, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers going down by 5 after an absolutely terrible performance against the Bengals. Them and the Panthers looked like the 2 worst teams on the field on Sunday, and just I know Steelers defense has had a few injuries, but that doesn't really excuse, letting up 41 points to anybody, even a divisional rival. So just terrible performance by the Steelers. 22, I have the Giants going up by 2 after beating the Eagles. Super, super defensive performance. It was their defense that won this game. I want to say Jalen Hurts threw 3 interceptions. Not a very good performance by him. Pretty lackluster game. And kind of what you would expect between these two teams, to be honest. But, yeah, Giants win 13-7 here. And I still don't think the Giants are a great team. I'm still not confident in Daniel Jones. I think Joe Judge should get another year, should get another chance. I really don't think he's had much to work with. His receivers have had just absurd injuries this year. So many injuries. Saquon has been injured for most of the year. Daniel Jones has sucked it up. Their offensive line hasn't played well. Really, until recent weeks, their defense hasn't really played well. So I feel like Joe Judge should get another chance there. But yeah, the Giants aren't in a great spot, though they also have back-to-back picks in the top 10 in the draft this year, so that should really help. 21, I have the Miami Dolphins going up by 4. Now, if they keep winning like this, the way they have the past couple weeks, I will be moving them up even more. My issue is, out of the last few weeks, the only really good team they've beaten is the Ravens, and I just like to see them beat multiple good teams before I really anoint them. Um, I mean, I feel like the playoffs are very much possible for the Dolphins, but they've just got to make that happen right now. So we'll have to see what happens with them going forward. But yeah, good performance on Sunday by the Dolphins. Tua and Jalen Waddle really had a good connection going. 20, I have the Denver Broncos going up by 2. I really didn't expect the Chargers to lose to the Broncos, especially to lose that bad. I mean, they lost 28-13. Broncos are a weird team. One week they'll look really, really good, and one week they'll look really, really bad. You never know which Broncos team you're going to get. I feel like when they are playing well, they can beat almost anybody in the league, but when they're playing bad, they're like a bottom 5 team. Like, they're really bad when they're bad. So, yeah, really, really confused about the Broncos, but for beating the Chargers, who I still think are a top 15, maybe top 10 team. It's kind of hard to say because there's so many teams, like, in that like 5 to 15 range that you could change up there. There's no like clear number 1 team. So I feel like for the Broncos to beat a team like that is impressive, so they're moving up by 2. Then we have the Raiders going up by 4. They played really, really well against the Cowboys. They put up 36 on the Cowboys, and I will say I think the Cowboys are really going to be looking at a change of corner opposite of Trayvon Diggs. I'm trying to think of the name of the corner that led up so many pass interferences against the Raiders. I want to say his last name was Brown. I can't think of his name right now. But anyways, Cowboys are probably going to look to replace him. That was a terrible performance by him. So yeah, Raiders looked really good. So moving them up by 4. The Eagles, I'm having them go up by 1. I know they were 17 last week. They're 18 this week. So that should actually say down by 1. Sorry for that. I must have just forgotten to update this. So that's actually down by 1. Yeah, I mean, they played the Giants tough. They were close, but pretty bad performance by them ultimately. So moving them down by 1. Number 17, we have the Washington football team going up by 2. They have now won 3 straight, and they're cruising. If the playoffs started today, they would be in the playoffs with the number 7 seed, and Washington is looking really, really good. Their defense is finally starting to look like what we expected them to. The offense is starting to get going. They're really starting to run the ball more, which I feel like this should be a run-first team. When you have Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick, and even Jarrett Patterson's not bad. When you have guys like that, you've got to run the ball. J.D. McKissick did get carted off the field last night. I don't know how serious that is yet, but that's definitely something to watch out for. And then, yeah, they're looking good. Taylor Heineke's looking good. I wouldn't be surprised to see them pull out 7, 8, maybe even 9 wins. Then the Vikings going down by 1. They lost to the 49ers. I predicted them to lose to the 49ers, but the Vikings are still a good team. Like, I really firmly believe they've had one of the hardest schedules in the league this year. I feel like the Vikings are still capable of beating any team, but I feel like Mike Zimmer is kind of holding them back with conservative play calling, and, well, I mean, injuries too. Dalvin Cook has been getting injured quite a bit this season. It's kind of hard to work when, Cook has been injured. There have been inconsistencies on the defense. Some weeks they play really, really well. Some weeks they play really, really bad. So yeah, I feel like the Vikings right now, I feel like they're kind of just like a middle of the road team that has the potential to beat anybody, but they could also lose games they're not supposed to because of Mike Zimmer. So I 100% think the Vikings should try to replace Mike Zimmer this offseason. 15, I have the Colts going down by 1. Now, I'll be honest, I debated not even moving the Colts down after this week. I mean, at one point they had a 10-point lead on the Bucs, and I mean, the Bucs, besides the Packers, may be the NFC favorite right now. I mean, the Colts played them tough. They played them really, really tough. I feel like the Colts honestly might deserve to be a little bit higher than this, so I debated honestly not moving them down. But ultimately, I mean, they did lose the game. I feel like they should go down by at least 1 there. But number 14, we have the Browns, and they're just not looking good. Baker Mayfield is just looking absolutely terrible. Now, I will say, he is very injured right now. He's not healthy. I think the Browns need to try to, if they can, either go out and sign like a veteran free agent quarterback, or just play Case Keenum for a while, because playing Baker Mayfield when he's this injured isn't going to win you games. He is not healthy at this point. Also, I want to say Jack Conklin. I can't remember if his injury was season-ending or not. I'm trying to remember what his injury was. But I do remember that it was serious and he will miss time. So, injuries on the offensive line. But things just aren't going well for the Browns right now. I don't really see them doing much more this season. 13, I have the Rams going down by 3 after losing their 3rd straight against the Packers. I mean, like I've been saying, you can build as much of a super team as you want, but if your players don't have that chemistry and don't know how to play together, it's not going to matter at the end of the day. You've got to have good team chemistry to win games. And, I mean, when you're just signing every big name out there, it's not always going to translate to wins. I mean, yeah, it's exciting to watch, but it's not always going to translate to wins. So, number 12, I have the 49ers going up by 4. Last few weeks, they've looked like one of the best teams in football. Their run game is dominant now. They're running the ball like 35 times a game, making Jimmy Garoppolo's job a hell of a lot easier. And this is the identity the 49ers need to stick with. As long as they don't get behind in football games, they can win about anything. They have one of the best lines in football. Their run game is just elite. They've got a good defense. I mean, they're playing dominant football right now. In fact, out of the NFC teams, I'm not sure there's another team I'd be more scared to face than the 49ers because of how dominant their run game is. I mean, they could just chew the hell out of the clock and dominate the time of possession battle. So, yeah, 49ers are looking really good right now. Number 11, I have the Dallas Cowboys going down by 2 after losing to the Raiders. trying to remember, is this 2 straight or 3 straight that the Cowboys have lost? Either way, Cowboys seem to have a few struggles going on right now. I mean, one week their offense will play really well. One week their defense will play really, really well. It doesn't seem like they're able to connect it and play complementary football. And I feel like that's something that Mike McCarthy is going to really have to figure out, which my understanding is McCarthy actually has COVID right now and may potentially be out in the game against the Saints on Thursday Night Football, so that's definitely something to watch for. Like I mentioned earlier, though, I think the Cowboys will very much be looking for a new number 2 corner opposite of Trayvon Diggs, because Brown is just not looking good. He gave up either 4 or 5 defensive pass interferences in that game. So, yeah, Cowboys just need to mesh well. They also have some injury concerns with, obviously, CeeDee Lamb, with Zeke. So, yeah, they just need to get healthy. Number 10, I have the Bengals going up by 3 after just absolutely dominating the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, this wasn't a close game. They absolutely smothered them into the dirt, and the Bengals look good. They look like that team that early on was winning a lot of football games, looking dominant. I know they had kind of a rough patch there, but looks like they're fixing things. Joe Burrow is looking really good. In fact, I really think we need to put Joe Burrow more in the MVP conversation. I really do. I haven't heard his name mentioned in the MVP conversation at all, and I think that's disrespectful. I think he absolutely should be there. And I mean, just Bengals are rolling right now. Number 9, I have the Chargers going down by 2 after losing to the Broncos. Like I said, I still think they're, a top 10, top 15 team. I feel like they'll be able to figure this out, get their consistency down. And ultimately, I feel like they'll make the playoffs and be able to fix things then. I don't think this is going to be something that drags on into next year and they're not able to fix this year. I think they'll fix it soon and start winning some more games again. So I'm not super worried about the Chargers yet, but they do need to fix their consistency issues. Number 8, I have the Tennessee Titans going down by 4. They got absolutely wrecked by the Patriots. Now, something interesting I saw, the Titans had 2 100-yard rushers against the Patriots, and they still only put up 13 points, lost by 23. So many turnovers, man. I mean, Ryan Tannehill was turning the ball over left and right. Injuries. I mean, they didn't have A.J. Brown or Julio Jones here. Both of them are on IR, actually, so that's not good. Titans are just a really beat-up team right now. So, yeah, they're at number 8 right now. Number 7, I have the Bills going up by 4 after dominating the Saints. They are starting to look like the Bills team we thought they would be. Just absolutely dominant offensively and defensively. And they're really starting to pick it up really right before playoff time. So it'll be interesting to see the race between them and the Patriots for the AFC East. I'm excited to see what happens. Then at number 6, I have the Baltimore Ravens going up by 2 after beating the Browns. Not a great offensive performance by them. I feel like this game was really more won on their defense, and I wouldn't say Lamar Jackson had a very good game, to be honest. I mean, he threw 4 interceptions, but he made the plays when needed. For those of you who saw that long pass interference that he threw to Mark Andrews, which, by the way, I think that was a catch, and it was a damn impressive catch, to say the least. Like, is damn impressive. Ultimately, the refs didn't call it a catch, but they did get the pass interference. So, I mean, Lamar Jackson was able to make plays when when they needed. So I know he didn't play very well with that 4 interceptions, but, he was able to pull it out and get the win. So, Ravens here at number 6. Number 5, I have the Kansas City Chiefs going up by 1. I know this was their bye week. They're really going up by 1 just because the Titans, who were previously above them, dropped by 4. So they kind of just went up by 1 by default. So no more reason to explain that. Number 4, I have the Bucks going up by 1 after beating the Colts. Bucks are still looking like a really good team. Leonard Fournette, I feel like, really dominated that game. I mean, he had 100 rushing yards and 4 total touchdowns. Tom Brady played well where he needed to. I mean, none of his receivers really had a real impressive day, but he also made the plays where he needed to, and ultimately the Bucks won. So moved them up by 1 in the power rankings. Number 3, I have the Cardinals going down by 2. This was their bye week. I'm only moving them down because of my top 2 teams right here. I expect the Cardinals to move back up, really quickly because Kyler Murray's expected to be back. DeAndre Hopkins, I think, should be back as well. So, they should get back to playing like a dominant team. But number 2, I have the Green Bay Packers not going up or down at all after beating the Rams. I really wanted to put them at the number 1 team, okay? But I'm just going to get to it. The Patriots right now are at my number 1 spot. They have just absolutely dominated for the last 5-6 weeks. I want to say they're on a 6-game winning streak or something like that, and they've just put it to their opponents. Offense is clicking. They may be playing as the best defense in the NFL right now. They might have the best defense in the NFL. Offense is playing well. Their run game is working. Mac Jones is playing well. Just nothing is going wrong for this Patriots team, and they're the team that, at this rate, I'm probably the most scared of right now. So, yeah, I have them at number 1. Let me know what you think of these power rankings. Let me know if there's anyone I had too high, too low, if there's someone that I should move up more than I did or move down more than I did. But again, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Later.